Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lokatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page here on Facebook. This is the afternoon live stream for the card draw. It's been Thursdays. The last Thursday of every month is really busy. I was having a little difficulty with my audio earlier today, and so I'm just looking on my phone. Oh, good. It works. Before we get all squelchy. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you with me this afternoon, Rochelle. I hope all is well with you over there across the lake. I'm in Wisconsin, Toma, Wisconsin, on the northwest side of the state, and Rochelle is in Michigan, and so we just have Lake Michigan in between us is all. Just a little time and space kind of thing. Well, I'm so glad my camera is back, my audio is back. I love it. I don't know what it was. I can't even guess. Everything looked like it should have worked, but it didn't. But now everything is back how it should be, and I am grateful. Yay! It's all the small things that make me happy, you know? What about you, Rochelle? Does that make you happy? Sometimes those small things are the ones that really bring the smiles. It was like, was it yesterday? Maybe it was Sunday. I think it was Sunday when I was doing the live stream in the morning, and I had someone come into to the live chat who I haven't connected with in years and years. And Bill came into the chat, and it brought a smile because Bill and I we studied feng shui from the same teacher, space clearing from the same teacher, and so we have some common roots there, in the feng shui and space clearing. And to see him in the chat room was just, it was really nice to see him there. Yeah, and Rochelle is saying small things do make me happy. Yeah, they do. Yeah, popcorn. I like popcorn. And so whenever we have popcorn, it's always yay, small things. So today's card draw, I did do it this morning the way I usually do, to meet with my spiritual team and get the card draw done. But this is the last Thursday of the month, and the last Thursday of the month is all about the elders here at Star Nations. We had Connie Waters' show this morning, Spiritual Mysteries of Life, that I produced. And then I'll produce the Franklin show, The Mystery School, Ortrud and Carl Franklin, this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so, Thursday's a little busy around here, but I still wanted to be able to get this particular live stream in because, one, I like being with you guys, and two, I like sharing this kind of information. It's like having that spiritual roundtable. Rochelle is saying, looking forward to going to Ho Chunk Casino. Oh yeah, the one in Lake Dalton, between Lake Dalton and Baraboo. Yes, that is the Ho Chunk's largest casino. That was the original, the first one that they opened back in the 90s. It was early 90s, I believe. My ancestry is to the Ho Chunk Nation. My mom's mother, my grandmother, my Gaga, that's Ho Chunk for grandmother, was full-blooded Ho Chunk. Yeah, and so I have many, many, many relatives on the Ho Chunk side. And I actually worked for the Ho Chunk for a short duration. I worked at Rainbow Casino, which is in Nakusa, as a marketing assistant in between jobs. We were getting ready to move, and I wanted to be able to still work for a while and not have to make a whole lot of decisions because I had come from running a community-based facility, and so I wanted a little bit of a break in between where I wasn't making any decisions. Big ones anyway, not any big decisions. And so I worked for Rainbow Casino, which is owned by the Ho Chunk. And so I got to spend time with my relatives over there. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Paul is the gambler in the family. I go with him to the casino at least one time a year, sometimes 2 times a year, once for his birthday and once for New Year's. And yeah, because I know it should be in my blood, but it's not. The casino scene, it's the cigarette smoke that I just and I used to be a smoker. It's that cigarette smoke that gets to me, and all the energy that kind of ricochets around. Although it's great for people watching. So, Rochelle, if you could do me a favor, what we're going to do is we're going to share. We're going to like and share. Mary just joined us too. Mary and Rochelle, if you could do me a favor, if you could share the broadcast, that would be helpful. I'm going to do the same thing. I have my phone, and I'm going to like it, and I'm going to share to my timeline. I think I can do that. Yep, I can. And just let everybody know that I'm live streaming. Yeah, I did. Mary's going, you used to smoke, question mark. Of course. I started smoking when I was, I think, 14. It could have been 13. Then I took a break and started smoking again when I was 17. And I took a break around 19 and then started smoking again. It took me like 5 times to quit. 5 times to quit. The last time I quit was April 1st, 1996. And that's the day that my father-in-law had received his diagnosis for lung cancer. And Paul looked at me and he said, now will you quit? Will you please quit for me? I can't watch you go through this too. And so I did. How can you turn down somebody you love when they're staring at you and they got tears in their eyes, and it's like, so I did. That was the last time. In the end of April 1st was the last time I had a cigarette. Yeah. So, yeah, but I started at 13 because I would watch my dad work on cars, and he was a smoker, and he smoked Winston Kings. And he'd have grease on his hands or stuff, and he'd look at me. He goes, "Light me a cigarette." It's like, so I did, and so that's how I learned how to smoke. All right, so I'm sharing and letting them know that hi, I'm live streaming. Not right now. Please join me. For today's, gotta learn how to spell today's card draw info. There, that's what I'm doing. All right. Yeah, the smoking thing. So when I started with because my dad needed me, or at least that's what I said. It was a good excuse as any. And then it was peer pressure. I'd say probably I stopped smoking when I was 15 for like a couple of months, and I was in high school, and then I started smoking again. And I remember the day that my mom found my cigarettes. Silly me, I leave my purse at home, and my mom went through my purse. Can you believe that? She says, you live in this house. Everything in this house is mine. and so she checked my purse, and sure enough, she saw my cigarettes in. But she didn't say anything to me. When I got home from school, nothing. Next morning, nothing. And I thought, well, maybe she didn't find my cigarettes. And so it wasn't until I got home from work the next day after school. I went to work, came home, and I was doing my homework in my room, and she came into my room and sat on my bed, and she goes, so when did you start smoking? And I said, which time? And she's, well, she says, you're working, you're old enough to make your own decisions. I'm not buying your cigarettes for you. You want to smoke? You buy your own cigarettes. I had my own car. I paid my own insurance, my own gas, right? So I smoked until I was 21 or so, and then tried to quit again, back and forth kind of stuff. But so it's been many years since I had my last cigarette. All right, and I'm going to just do one more share, and I'm going to go to the group, to the closed group for the radio network, and I'm just going to post. Live streaming. All right, there we go. You know, the sharing is actually pretty easy. It's my typing on the little keys and not getting the correct spelling, and I have to go back and spell. Rochelle, so I go with 20 bucks. Yeah, me too. When I do go, that's it. I got $20, and when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, and then Paul likes to play 21, so I usually stand and watch him. And I stand and watch people. It's a good people watching place. So today's card draw was very interesting because we haven't had this card in a while, the giveaway ceremony. It's about releasing, right? And this is one of my favorite cards. I think it's because of the little girl on there. You know, the artwork on these cards is just gorgeous. Love that. The giveaway ceremony is actually it's one of those ceremonies that is it goes across many different tribal nations here on Turtle Island in the United States. Almost every nation has some sort of ceremony as a giveaway. Or I should say, let me correct that a little bit, make it a little bit clearer, is that there are many ceremonies that include a giveaway. So if somebody is receiving their native name, if somebody is receiving a feather, if somebody is being adopted into another family, they have a ceremony for it, a celebration. It's always food, and the giveaway. And the giveaway is, in modern day, things are bought, small items. There might be a few more pricey items in there, like a Pendleton blanket or a quilt or something like that. And but the smaller items, they could be like costume jewelry or small things, and they're given to somebody. Everyone gets something at the giveaway, and so it has evolved over the generations and has changed with the times. Our ancestors, how they would do the giveaway would be they would make things, right? They would make things for the giveaway. And it really was more about giving the best that you have to someone else. And it didn't even matter if you really even knew them. It was about not being so connected to the physical item. And you could even give away something that's personally yours, whether you had a piece of jewelry or a blanket or something like that. As long as it was in good condition and you wanted to gift it to somebody, you could do that. And that was a part of not being attached to physical items. And whenever you gave something away, you made room for something else, right? And so whether you gave it to somebody or somebody gave you something, and so that basically that is the giveaway. Now, since we've gotten this card before, I had a nice discussion about it with my spiritual team this morning. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you, just to refresh your memory about it, is this is what Jamie Sams writes about the giveaway. She says, in this ritual, giving away of useful or loved possessions is a form of sharing with others. It is also a sign that the giver is willing to make a sacrifice or a surrender, a gift to another person without attachment or regret. The native understanding of sacrifice originally meant to make sacred. To make any act or any gift sacred, one has to complete that action with a joyful heart and a humble attitude. A joyful heart and a humble attitude. So the gift itself was not about manipulation or now you owe me something kind of thing, that it was given with an open heart. And whether or not they kept it or what they literally sometimes what they did with it really didn't matter. There is a caveat to that, though, is that if it was an item that, let's say it was a utilitarian item, could have been a bowl or a basket or something like that, and it wasn't used, many times the giver would actually go and take it back and give it to someone else. Because that way the maker, the person who created that item, was being respected and honored. It was disrespectful not to use it. And so that was the reason why they took it and gifted it to someone else. Now, in modern day, we would call that a form of regifting, right? To go and take it and give it to someone else. Yeah. Gosh, it's busy in my neighborhood today. I don't know if you could hear it, but the dog's barking, and we got trucks on our street that is usually pretty quiet. Jamie also says that about the releasing piece of this. She says, in releasing possessions we love dearly, we're able to open our lives for future abundance. And so, many of us, if you go through your closets or the basement or something like that, wherever you keep your storage, many times what you'll do is you'll find something packed away or put away that you haven't even looked at in years, and it's sitting there. Well, unless you use it and love it, which is a definition of clutter, it's only clutter is if it's not used and it's not loved. So when you have something like that's not being used, and you haven't used it so long that you probably even forgot about it, do you really love it at that point, right? In order to make room for new energy to flow through there is to literally to clutter clear, is to take a look at it, maybe give it to somebody who might enjoy it, whether it's somebody that you personally know, or maybe it's to donate to a not-for-profit, whether that is Salvation Army or places that do auctions and that kind of thing, to raffles to raise funds for their charity. You can always gift it to them as well. So that's in the releasing part, right? She says that the spiritual life of the person who let me read the sentence before. Let's say, wealth is measured in many different ways to two-leggeds across the planet. In Native tradition, one part measure of wealth is a person's ability to assist others. Developed talents and willingness to use them to aid those in need set a person apart from others who seek self-gratification. This type of individual is a symbol of a potential leader in the tribe. Selflessness is a sign that the giving individual is able to stand apart from the attachments of the physical world. The spiritual life of this person is usually well developed and carries the medicine of the ancestors. And in many ways, in tribal nations, it's that form of selflessness that is a leader. In many ways, and many times, the leaders are the last to eat. When there is a feast, when there is a meal or anything like that, what they do is they usually have the elders go first. And then after the elders, then it's the children. And then after the children, then it's, the other adults. And the leader is usually, or the leaders, let's put that in plural, are usually the last to eat. If they have dignitaries there, they might go after the elders, not before the elders, but after the elders. Or if they are elder, then they eat with the elders. But the leaders actually go last, and they make sure that everybody has gotten what they need, has gone through and gotten their food, and then they grab a plate and they do that. Sometimes what you'll see is a younger person will fix a plate for an elder or fix a plate for the leader, and without being asked. They'll just go over and grab a plate and put a plate together and deliver it to them. And so that's kind of that giving and receiving, right? Which leads me to, it's a good segue, what I talked to my spiritual team about. Because I couldn't understand, why are we getting this card when we covered it really quite well the last time, I thought. And what is on the agenda for today with this card, for those who just joined us, is the giveaway ceremony. It's about release. What they want me to bring to you today is, for today's energy, is the other side of the giveaway. The card is talking about, let's say you're giving something to someone else, right? When somebody gives you something, when we're talking about being the receiver, how often have you been a part of a conversation when we're talking about spiritually receiving? Whether it's a tangible gift, or maybe it's blessings, the intangible. Yeah. They want me to talk about, or at least raise the topic of receiving. Because when it's in balance, when giving and receiving is in balance, that's infinity, right? The sign of infinity is about the balance of giving and receiving. Generally speaking, we're very good givers. When you are an energy worker, a light worker, you're very, very good at giving. We got that down pat to give. But how are you as a receiver? When somebody gives you a compliment, how do you receive the compliment? When somebody gives you something that is so totally unexpected, you had no idea that you were going to receive that gift, how did you receive it? If you were given a gift that you didn't even know who gave it to you, an anonymous person gives you something that you might have been thinking about you need, or maybe you mentioned it to somebody, gee, I wish I had blah, 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 so that I can create such and such, right? How do you receive that when you don't know who gave it to you? This is stuff that, we don't normally think about. We don't slow down enough to consider it. How do we receive? When you're a giver and you're doing it in a good way, we'll put air quotes around that, in a good way. In other words, you're giving it from a good heart and a good mind. You're not giving somebody something so that they will be indebted to you, whether physically or spiritually, emotionally. You're giving it from your heart, and you just love. That's it. Here you go. We're very good at that. But how do we receive? Do we receive in the same way that we give, with an open heart, an open mind? How do you guys feel about that? Have you ever thought about this? I had to stop this morning and think about that. It has taken me practice. It has taken me some time to receive compliments about one thing or another. Didn't matter what the compliment was. If it was, gee, I like this or that about you, it's like, oh yeah, but it takes me a while to look like this. Or, I don't wear makeup, or, it could be better. And so you're accepting it, but you're qualifying it. Yes, but. Or if you made something and a piece of artwork or photography or something you've written, and somebody is complimenting you on that, and you say, yeah, but I made some mistakes. Because we see them really easily because we made the mistake, right? And so then we go about explaining to the person who just gave us the compliment, there's the mistake and there's a mistake, and that's why it doesn't look as good as it could. So what did we just do to their compliment? So it took me a while, though. It took me a while to really receive it. And some of that is, I believe, is attached to our self-esteem, our self-worth, how we value ourselves. And it's not, and I'm not talking about in an egotistical kind of way, but rather in the light of how we express our gifts. Yeah. The act of receiving. Now, how do you guys see that? I'm going to scroll down here. I'm probably missing a whole bunch of. Back to the smoking. Yep, Mary used to smoke too. And thank you for sharing, ladies. I appreciate that. Rob is saying, I quit gambling. It was never a problem, but I just lost interest. Yeah, I could see that because I'm not much of a gambler that way either. If I'm going to gamble something, it's not going to be in a casino. I roll the dice. I'm an entrepreneur, right? Really, I am. And so rolling the dice for me is let's take a chance on this piece of business. Rochelle says the card is beautiful. Also, the raccoon is there. That raccoon loves you, Rochelle. Rob says backgammon was my big game. Oh, yeah, I used to play backgammon back in the day too. I don't know. I'd have to play a little bit to remember. Video poker. Hey, Stephanie's here. Hey, Stephanie. Judy's saying smoking is my worst vice. Trying hard to get rid of it. Oh yeah. Yep. Meditation, cleaning the chakras, and words of wisdom are helping me. Oh, that's good. That is really good. Judy, it took me 5 times to quit smoking. Yeah. Hey, Barb, my sister cousin here. And, as we say in the Indian way, Barb is my sister. Our moms were sisters. So in the non-native way, she's my first cousin. And so it's so good to see you in the chat, Barb. And I promise I won't call you Barbie. I'll let Paul know that you're here. Rochelle is saying Deb just came over and listening with. Hey, Deb, good to have you in the chat too. And Rochelle is saying I like compliments. Long time ago I felt awkward, but in the last few years I feel so appreciative. I say thank you and give them a hug. Love that rock you gave me when I saw you last year. Oh yeah, definitely. And Mary's going, yeah. Not many times do we really think, slow down and really consider thinking about how we receive. And let's take that another step. We're receiving it. Let's say it is a tangible gift, okay? How do we take care of that gift? What do we do with that gift? Is it one of those things that you put in the closet and you pull out when that person comes over? Seinfeld did a whole show on that, that regifting thing. You know what? And I think it's okay to regift. I do. If it's not something that you that you're going to use, you appreciate it, but it's not something you're going to use, and it's just going to sit, in storage or not being used, then I think it's okay. It's okay to regift it, to give it to somebody who is going to appreciate it and who's actually going to use it. I think that's great. Yeah, and I'm just thinking about my own basement. It's like, man, I got some pictures, artwork. Paul likes to go to um, banquets for hunters, and they always have pictures and all kinds of things that they raffle to raise money for. And we got a rule now: is no more artwork. Because we just don't have the wall space for it. And so I did, past tense, try to rotate them out so that the ones down in the basement would be brought up and hung. And I haven't done that in about 5 or 6 years. And so, as I'm talking, I'm thinking, geez, I got that same thing going on in my basement. And now that we're in Mercury retrograde, it's great energy to do clutter clearing and to regift and to redo and that kind of stuff, Yeah. Interesting. Jamie Sams, she writes from her roots, which is the Seneca. And so her perspective on the giveaway ceremony is coming from her perspective, from the Seneca perspective. And so this is what she says about the application of the essence, the energy behind this card. She says that the giveaway card spells relief through release. Don't get stuck holding on to anything that no longer serves you. That no longer serves you. Attachment to attitudes like needing to be needed, or like many, or liked, or may no longer serve you. And so it is the tangible, but it's also the intangible. What no longer serves you? What beliefs no longer serves you? And that's another way, to clutter clear. And to be appreciative of how it was given to you, that belief, when it comes from our cultures, and there might be something that just doesn't fit you anymore, and we hang on to it because our relatives gave it to us, right? Handed down generation to generation. There's some value to that, but does it really serve you? And it's hard. That's a hard one to go through, to see what it is and to make the decision to let it go. To let it go. Yeah. Those are hard ones. Those take a while because you have to sit there and really consider it, right? Go to your heart. That's what I say. She says that you're being asked to share what you can, give away something that can help someone else. And so in the smallest ways, you don't have to take huge steps. You don't have to, give away $1,000. You don't have to make a big gesture. Sometimes it's the smallest gestures that are the most meaningful, especially in the intangible. If you give somebody a friendly smile that you can see they're having a hard day, it's a hard time, right? For those that are huggers, is to hug, is to give somebody a hug, especially when they're having a hard day. And sometimes it is giving of your time. Something small, sometimes just a telephone call, just to say hi. You haven't talked for a while, and so you're just going to say hello. So sometimes it's the smallest things that are the most meaningful. Yeah. All right. So, Jamie, do you want to hear the poem? The poems. You know how I feel about Jamie's poems. They're one of my favorites. Let's check the chat first before I do that. Judy says, it's so true for me. It's also hard for me to receive. Way better at giving. Yes. Uh-huh. So much better at giving. I love to give without somebody knowing when I feel I need that they need some uplifting. Again, I think that's fine. I think that's great. I mean, I've done that too, where I've gifted somebody something and they don't know. It's because I didn't tell them. It meant more to see them smile and have a sense of relief, I was just thinking back. Paul and I actually one time we cleaned out our freezer. because there was a family that was having a really, really tough time. They had kids, and just a meal. And so we bought a cooler, and we basically took a lot of venison, because I grew up with that venison. That was our red meat. And so we pretty much cleaned out our freezer and some dry goods, like noodles and rice and that kind of thing. And bought a card, taped the card to the cooler, and dropped it off at their house. And they never knew it was us. That's okay. We didn't do it for the accolades. We didn't do it for the pat on the back kind of thing. That was years ago. I think, years ago. I'm not going to say where we're living because somebody might put two and two together. Rochelle's saying, I have the rock and the sky for my altar. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Rochelle. And Judy's saying, darn typos again. I love to give away. I know it. Don't you? I do the same thing, Judy. Love to give when I know somebody needs something special and uplifting. Yeah. And Mary is saying, I think regifting is a good thing too. Yeah. And so Stephanie's saying Ben's appointment yesterday was horrible. On the way home, we stopped at a store to get a dairy-free cheese for kiddo. Aw. I had been crying in the car for half an hour, and the cashier gave me a bunch of flowers to cheer me up. I burst into tears and tried to be grateful. It was hard. Oh, I know. In that moment, when, see, I'm even tearing up. When you are in the middle of that breakdown, right? And somebody does something nice for you, you just sob even harder because you can't believe somebody is actually being kind, Yeah. And yet here you are today, Stephanie, telling us about it, and in your own way, being grateful that somebody was kind. She gave you a bit of nature, right? A bit of nature. Okay, I got to take a drink of water. Yeah. Well, I'm going to do something in a little bit, but we're going to finish up the cards first, okay? And Stephanie, if I don't know if you have a drum or a rattle at home, if you could go and get that, okay? Because as soon as we get through the card, we're going to do a little drumming. And so here is the Dolphin. This is the relative that showed up to help us to understand the giveaway card in a deeper way, with a little bit more clarity. So what is Dolphin? What does that have to do with a giveaway, right? Well, it's very interesting because the dolphin is actually the keeper of the sacred breath of life, writes Jamie, and teaches us how to release emotions through the dolphin breath. And the dolphin breath is taking that big, deep breath in, and you're holding it just there for a second and then really blowing it out. That's the dolphin breath, right? And so that breath actually helps us with our emotions so that we're not keeping them in and then we get all tense, right? Is that when we take that big, deep breath in, and as we blow it out, we can feel our muscles starting to relax. And when we relax, we can hear, see, sense that information that's coming from spirit. It's when we're all tensed up that it's really hard for us to hear it, to see it. And so that life breath, that sacred breath of life, God, I parked my car in the driveway of the academy, and I did this the other night for a show, and the sun is on the windshield. And so that's the reflection that you're seeing, and it's so bright. Do you ever have your picture taken with one of those old cameras and it's got the light bulbs, the flash bulbs? And when you take your picture, and then you see those little white lights all before your eyes, Well, that's me right now. Oh my goodness. All right. We're going to try to focus here. So the sacred breath of life is called Manna, Manna, Manna. It's the life force. And so we, as two-leggeds, we can live several days without food and without water, but we can only live a few minutes without air. And in the spiritual sense, our breath came from the Creator. That's what started our life, right? Our physical life, I should say. So Manna, and guess what? Manna is free. Manna's free. We breathe it in and out all day long, all night long, throughout our entire life. And it's free. Now, this is good. I'm going to have to move my chair. All right, my camera's working, my microphone's working, and now I have the sunshine. Let's see, I don't know. That's not going to help. We're going to go the opposite direction. Whoops. In the opposite direction here. That's a little bit better. Now you can see all the tables behind me. I'll tell you a little bit about that. That's a whole nother story. So the dolphin teaches us how to use life mana through our breath. It revitalizes each cell and organ and breaks the limits and dimensions of physical reality so that we may enter the dream time. We talked about dream time yesterday. So in the giveaway, you could say that Manna is the Creator's giveaway. And what do we do with it? Because it's our life, right? It gives us life. I know I'm kind of in the dark now, but I don't think I don't have a there. That's a little bit better. Now I'm going to hold my arm up. All right. So, if we think of it that way, that's the Creator's giveaway to us so that we have a physical life, that we're in these physical bodies that breathes this mana. And what do we do with it? How do we receive it? How do we receive that gift? Coach Dee Dee's in the house. Hi, Denise. So good you're here. Yeah, you're probably having a good laugh right now too, because she and I have this really. We were on a trip together when we went to Ireland, England, and Wales, and Denise and I were always laughing. And so when I do this, I got to squint. All right, so what do you guys think about that? That's what came to me with the mana in regards to the essence of that giveaway ceremony card. That this is a way to be able to understand the depth of the giveaway and the receiving. Because we, as we talked before, is that we're really good at giving. Very, very good at it. But how are we at receiving? And how are we at receiving that gift from the Creator called Manna, the life force? What do we do with it? How do we accept it? That's a big question, isn't it? Yeah. Have to sit with that one too. Yeah. I'm just trying to, there was one more piece in here that I thought, oh yeah. All right, so she says, breathe and experience the mana so freely given. Break existing barriers and connect to the dream time or great star nation. Know that we are all whole in the eyes of the ever-living one, the Creator. Whatever you call that essence, that spirit, Creator, God, Goddess, Um, and the thing is that we have to, I think, just slow down a little bit and receive, and to receive with our hearts, with an open heart and open mind, just like we give, just like we give, but to receive in the same manner, right? I think that's the message. Oh, I was going to read the poem, wasn't I? For the giveaway. So here's the poem for the giveaway. It says, "Child of Earth, do you know the secret of the giveaway? The more you release, the more you receive, for that's nature's way. Child of Earth, do you believe in reaping what you sow? A drop of wisdom will bring the truth, and you will truly know." Yeah, I like her poetry. I do. Yeah. It really gives you something to think about, doesn't it? And so, how is this going to unfold for us? How has it already unfolded for you, to see, to sense, from the heart when somebody gives you something? And how do you receive that? Do you receive it in the same way? Are you a participant or a witness of that unfolding of that energy? Yeah. So, like they say almost every day, just take what resonates with you. Whatever piece that was for you, is to pick it up and embrace it and see where it leads you. If it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Maybe you're the messenger. Maybe you share it with someone else. Or maybe it was just a seed. Maybe it will unfold at some other date, some other day. That energy of the giveaway. Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to do something else today. It's kind of a special day, because we're doing this live stream at a special time in the afternoon rather than the morning. And I didn't know why, but I even had wrote it that, maybe we'd have time to do a little drumming, and because it felt like it this morning. And so now I know why. Now I know why. I think I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes, okay? If you have a drum, or if you have a rattle, please go get that, because we're going to do a little drumming for Ben and for Stephanie, okay? It's a gift from us to you, and the energy around it, and you can hold that energy as however you need to do it. However you need to use it is up to you. And I got to turn my chair again so that because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to go, not a couple of minutes, I'm going to give you a minute because that's really a long time, to get your drum or your rattle. And we're going to do a little drumming with a good heart, a good mind. And that's what we do best, don't we? We do that giveaway. Going to warm her up a bit. It's actually pretty decent weather here, really. It's like 72 degrees, 71 degrees, no humidity, some sun on my windshield. All right. That's okay, Mary. You don't have to have a drum. If you have a rattle or tambourine or any kind of percussion, it'd be good. Or a flute or any kind of instrument, really. It's the energy from our hearts and our prayers for Ben and for Stephanie. It's like a vital force surcharge, right? Yeah. So whatever you have, in the old days, mine would have been a saucepan and a drumstick or my hand even. Yep. All right. So the intention for this piece is for Ben, and for Ben to have optimal health and joy, and for blessings of all kinds to come his way, and for Stephanie to have the support that she needs, the full support that she needs, so that she can also have optimal health and joy, and just a lot of love coming your way. Okay. All right. So here we go. No, I'm not a singer and drummer. I drum. I'm not much of a singer though. All right. So even if you don't have a drum or a rattle or an instrument of any kind, you certainly can listen to the drumming and you can say your prayers, because your prayers will ride on the beat of the drum as well. Okay? All right. So here we go. And this is for Ben and Stephanie. So when you're finished with your prayer for your drumming for Stephanie and Ben, if you could just put a comment in, drumming, you can put a comment in so that I know that you're finished up. And so Stephanie, that drumming was for Ben and for you. Prayers coming your way. So hopefully you can feel the love coming from so many, and the prayers coming your way. There's a lot of single moms, in Star Nations community, and they certainly understand what it's like to be a single parent. And there's others that are also a parent of a disabled child, and so they know exactly um, the challenges that you face. And yet, there's a lot of love with you, right beside you, and inside you. So, hey, Marlene joined us. Hi, Marlene. Prayers. Okay, thank you, Rob. Rob says, I'm at work. I'll do a prayer when I'm able. Thank you, Rob. And Rochelle said, I love drumming, sending love and blessings. There you go. Yeah. And I wanted to thank each one of you for being here this afternoon for the card draw information and joining us in prayers and with the drumming. You know, maybe we should make that like an ongoing thing, maybe at that last Thursday of the month, because I'll be producing both shows for quite some time, I hope. And so maybe we should make this a special Thursday afternoon gathering. And we can do a little drumming at the very end, right? Yeah. Sending prayers to whoever needs it. It's a good one. It's a good one. So let's see. Marlene says, on the road, brother in hospital, prayers coming your way. Thank you, Marlene. Mm-hmm. And Mary says, prayers sent. Thank you so much, you guys. Now, we'll see you back here tomorrow for the card draw live stream, for the information for tomorrow, what the energy holds for us. Until then, hey, please join us at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Mystery School with Carl and Ortune Franklin and myself. I'll be producing, and I always join in with them live. So if you are able, please join us. It's all about spiritual freedom and looking at those belief systems and how sometimes they can be interference or barriers for us for our soul's growth. And I can't wait to hear what Carl has to say about that. So hopefully you guys can join us. Until then, Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Have a good afternoon.